So we have here the second round of the 2026 World Basketball Invitation Tournament. The score from day one. The only reason why BYU is hosting Missouri on Monday is because, due to religious reasons, they are Mormon university. BYU cannot play key sports events on Sunday. None of their sports teams do, whether it's women's volleyball, women's basketball, women's soccer, or it's men's volleyball, men's basketball, men's volleyball, and men's football. Football plays on Saturdays, but for a reason, like to see the game was played on Saturday, and the whole day was scheduled to be rained out. Like a rain out. Maybe then they play on Sunday if they absolutely had to. But as for religious reasons, typically they do not play on Sundays. And then on Monday they play on but the NCAA tournament, they either play them on Thursday, Saturday, unless it's the NCAA tournament. But the NCAA tournament might go by then. They have to play on Saturday, so so we'll see. But it looks like they are. And we have on the top left, BYU and Missouri both know their opponent. Stanford. Stanford beat Quinnipiac 81-69. McNeese traveled to San Diego to play. It was not played at San Diego State. It was played at San Diego. And San Diego State could have been hosting. San Diego State could have been hosting men's NCAA tournament games, because all the men's NCAA tournament games are neutral site games. And they were playing at San Diego, and because the men's tournament games would bring them more money than hosting them at San Diego. Hosting them at their own campus. They would host them at their own campus if they weren't locked into hosting the home games, and they for the neutral site games for the NCAA tournament versus their own games. They probably put that months in advance, before they knew. So, and then they went. So San Diego State 56-1 winners. Rice fell to Kansas 62-55. So Kansas, as the 2 seed, will host the 4 seed San Diego State. And then if Stanford wins, if Missouri beats BYU, Stanford will host Missouri. But if BYU wins, they'll host Stanford. I have California winners on the road at Kansas State. The 3 seed California defeats the 2 seed Kansas State 83-75, and then the 4 seed Columbia, they blew out St. John's City 4-6, and they were up big on North Dakota State, near 30 points at the half, 30 or around 30 at halftime. They ended up winning by 29, 86-57 over California. They're playing. Columbia is playing at California at 10 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. Pacific. The game at San Diego State at Kansas is 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 p.m. local time in Kansas. So for the fans in San Diego, California, San Diego State women's basketball fans, they'll be watching that Thursday at 4:30 Pacific. And then Harvard, Wisconsin was unable to host in the first round, so Oregon State hosted because Oregon State or Wisconsin was probably hosting them and seeing men's basketball tournament games versus their own games. So they play, and even if say Wisconsin is playing in the men's tournament, they were in the NCAA tournament. The Wisconsin Badgers games are not played at Wisconsin. They actually travel, so to make sure the games are actually neutral site. Maybe playing at another center in the country, another school around the country. They're played at neutral sites. All of them are. Even if your team's at tournament, you're not playing at home. You never do. Even if your school's hosting you never play at home. I guess it's neutral site. So Wisconsin, So Wisconsin hosts the first round, and get ready for that. But then in obviously the games are on Thursday though too, so that's like And then Miami, Florida, hosted as number 2 seed, and they win, and they lose 72-65 to Wisconsin. So Wisconsin Badgers eliminate the Miami, Florida Hurricanes, and then Harvard. The first game they beat NU by 19. We're kind of dominant. We're dominant the second half, and they were dominant from the. Harvard was dominant from the start over Eastern Kentucky, especially that first half. They limited Eastern Kentucky to 11 points that first half, and they only got 23 in the second half. Harvard wasn't as dominant in the second half, but they needed to be, just need to keep even with Eastern Kentucky, and they did. And Harvard blew, and it was a no contest, basically, for Eastern Kentucky as they win, as the 4 seed Harvard. We'll travel to Madison, Wisconsin to face the 3 seed Wisconsin Badgers and Harvard Crimson. That's at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 local time, 6:30 p.m. Central Time in Madison, Wisconsin.